Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. And this movie came out in 1954 and stars James Stewart. And I've only reviewed one Hitchcock movie before, and that was Vertigo a few days ago, and I thought that movie was great. And this one I personally like a lot better. I think it's much more engaging for me, and the suspenseful sequences are better. And overall, I just think it's a better movie. To start off, this movie has not only really good performances, but really likable characters. And there's not a whole lot to them. They're not like complex or anything, but they're still likable characters. And our main character, played by James Stewart, he's in a wheelchair, and his left leg got hit by a car because he was trying to get an impressive shot, which I think is kind of funny. And he also kind of references really great shots, but I'll get to that line later. And Lisa in this movie, I really liked her. She doesn't have a whole lot to do, but you can tell that she really wants to get involved with our main character's life, and she just stumbles upon the situation that our main character saw, like something happened, and she all of a sudden sees something happening outside of the rear window, as the movie is titled. And then she's on board with, yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't happen exactly like that, but that's basically what happens. And the film does a good job establishing what their relationship is like, and sure, it's not really subtle, but it's still well presented and entertaining. And this movie has some pretty funny jokes throughout. I mean, not throughout the whole film, but sprinkled in there, mostly in the first act. I really liked the build-up, and while it's kind of like a Vertigo, it slowly builds up to something and then it releases. This movie, it's more building up throughout the entire movie, just constantly building and building and building, and eventually it's a release. And the release was great. I loved the release. And it was also very effective, and everything was done very, very well. And you can tell that this movie had like a vision from start to finish. It's a very simple movie. It doesn't have a whole lot going on when it comes to other storylines. The closest thing we get to another storyline going on in this movie is just other characters talking about something else that hasn't been talked about yet. But aside from that, this movie is very focused, and each shot is very purposeful in this movie, and it's not very fast-paced, but I think that's done intentionally. And this movie does have a bit of a lighthearted tone to it, which I kind of talked about when I was talking about the humor in this movie, but it does start off pretty light, and eventually it gets kind of dark. But it never abandons that lighthearted tone entirely. It never becomes like a Tarantino bloodbath like it easily could. The violence is very much left up to your interpretation, and you might be questioning, is there something wrong going on here? And the detective in this movie, he came to the conclusion that it's possible, but 1 in 1,000 or something. And I love that he's brought in to work on his day off, and our main character says, well, I took all of my best shots on my days off. Like, I love that line a lot. This wouldn't be something that you would say if back then, but this movie does in ways feel a bit like The Hateful Eight, where it's just one location, and they do everything they can with just that one location. Very similar to this movie. It's one apartment this movie takes place in, and you see another apartment, but it's never... The camera doesn't go inside of other apartments outside of James Stewart's apartment. And I really liked that. It leaves a lot up to interpretation as to what these other people are doing. And that's a big part of this movie, too, is that this neighborhood, you can tell how each of them is living their lives, and they don't say much, but You just see what they do, and I think that works very well. And sometimes they explain what characters are doing, but there's still things to interpret from the film. And that's about all I have to say about Rear Window. In terms of flaws, I can't think of anything that I didn't like. This movie was excellent from beginning to end, and it had me throughout. I was never bored, and it's a really great movie, so check it out if you haven't seen it already. And I'm going to give Rear Window a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Rear Window down below. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for... we're going back to Saw, but Jigsaw. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.